Hi, I'm Andrew Berry and welcome to At The Bench and welcome to a video request film. An At The Bench member emailed me a couple of days ago and said that she wanted to buy a pendant drill, a flexi shaft, to replace an old handheld drill that she had, and it caused her a bit of damage to a fingernail at Christmas time when she was polishing a chain. She mentioned that there are so many different types of pendant drill out there and so many different hand pieces. She doesn't know what style of pendant drill, what hand pieces to go for. And yes, it is quite an expensive purchase, but it is one that, yes, you do need to make sure that you buy the right pendant drill, flexi shaft, because then you will then be using it every single day. Whenever you make jewellery, you can make it, you can grind it, you can polish it, you can shape, you can drill. There's so many things you can do with the pendant motor. If you rush out and buy the first one that you see without any thought about what you want that pendant drill to do, you could be making quite an expensive mistake. So I'm not necessarily going to show you the only pendant drill to buy. I'm just going to show you what I use, what I have used in the past, what limitations they are, and what you can actually do and what hand pieces you can buy for them. The pendant drill I started with 20 odd years ago. It was a Seco, that's S-E-C-O I think, and it was very good, don't get me wrong, I loved it. It's an absolutely fantastic pendant drill. It does have its limitations, the particular one that I've got. At the time, it had a fixed handpiece. You couldn't necessarily put thin shank burrs or thin drills into it because the handpiece was fixed at 2.35 millimeter. So it was a bit limited that way, but it was fine for what I wanted. And at the time, that's all I could afford. And then I've progressed and I've picked up various pendant drills throughout my career as well. And I'll take you into my other workshop upstairs here in the studio to show you those and the particular hand pieces. What I'm about to show you here though is what I use now up here in my recording studio here and also down in the workshop. And these are Fordham drills. Fordham at the time when I was buying them were a little bit too expensive for me. And really, if I'd saved up a little bit more money and bought one of these drills, it would have lasted me for life, and the interchangeable hand pieces you can buy are absolutely fantastic. The one I got hanging up here is an SR series. It has a forwards and a reverse button on it. The reverse button, yeah, is perhaps if you're polishing, and when you're polishing away, if you had it in the forward, when you're polishing, the dust and the dirt would come flying up into your face. If you flicked it onto the reverse, it would take the dust and the bristles and the polish away from your face. That's quite a handy thing to note. I didn't quite know what the reverse was for until somebody emailed me. And I've done a review on one of these pendant drills on At The Bench, and if you search for pendant motors, flexi shafts or workshop tools, you'll find the tool review on there. These pendant drills come with foot control as well, various foot control, and that's down on the floor obviously, and you can operate that with your foot like you do with the accelerator of a car. The Fordhams have got fantastic control. You can really, let me get this out and you can have a listen. You can really rotate these so slowly. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. A few of the other polishing motors that I've got here, you've only just got to touch that foot pedal and it spins at such a high speed. And if you're drilling with a very small drill, like a 1 millimeter drill, you don't want this shaft to be flying around at 10,000 revs a minute. It's just too fast, and you blunt the drills, you'd snap them. But this particular foot control on this particular type of pendant motor is so controllable and really is fantastic. This one comes with a quick release handpiece. As you can see here, you just have to flick the thumb lever, take out the drill, take out the burr, take out the polishing mop, put it back in, flick the handle, and away you go. It is interchangeable. It's not too big either. You can hold it basically like you do with a pen, in a pen grip like this. That's fine. It affords good control. You can also have an overhand grip as well, like this. And I sort of between the two really, and I use this grip quite often because my thumb sticks out and I can use it then, especially if I'm grinding or burnishing or whatever I'm using with it. I can control it because I've got control between the two hands. The handpieces come off just like that. So that was the quick release, and they've got this slip joint as well. And it's very handy because if it does have a slip joint, it means that you can change your handpieces into whatever you want. If it has a fixed handpiece, well, then you're stuck with what you've got on the end of the shaft. As I said, the Fordhams come with quite a few different types of hand pieces as well. This is quite a large one, and for me this is just a little bit too big. That would just simply push on like that. It comes with a chuck key as well, as you can see here, and that would open, that would close, and the jaw on here will go right down to about 1/10 of a millimetre, right up to, let's have a look, 3mm, 3.5mm. So it does accept quite a variety of drills, if for instance. It's quite a heavy duty. I find this a little bit too big. It's just, you can't really have an overhand, a pen grip with it. It just really isn't comfortable. But if you were using the Pepe ring, jump ring maker, I'll show you now, that I have here. If you were using this and you wanted to cut the jump rings, well then you'd have to have this handpiece. And this handpiece fits into the sleeve. And again, there's a film on At the Bench showing you how this jump ring maker works and shows you the principles on cutting the jump rings off. But we're not going to dwell on that in this particular film. I'll put that back away. Also, the Fordham has a hammer hand piece as well. Now, I find this really handy, especially if you want to push down bezels that are a little bit too thick to do by hand. This is ideal. If you just want to ease a claw over, just push the claw to one side. If you're channel setting, these are ideal because this will push the channel over just that little bit. Perhaps you just cannot push the metal physically. This handpiece goes on like that, push the foot control, and you can hear it hammers the anvil, they call it here. So when you are setting, if I put this, you can better hear it, it'll push the bezel, push whatever metal you hammer it. It's also got a variable control here, so you can have it quite lightly pushing if you were trying to push a claw over something that was quite delicate and fragile. So it's got a variable hammer action. Also, these anvils can come off, and also what you can buy are little diamond tipped anvils as well. There's a little industrial diamond right on the very end, and you can use that to impart a sort of texture, almost like a diamond cut texture on a flat surface, and that really looks good as well. So the Fordham, yes, if you can afford it, go for it. It's just very good. You can pick these up in the tool suppliers, £200 roughly, which may seem a lot of money, but it'll save you so much money in the long run. Anyway, there's enough about the Fordham. Let me take you into my other studio and I'll show you those couple of other pendant drills in there. So this is my front studio. At the moment the lighting's not too good in here. It's just getting dark outside. I don't have my video lights in here. This is another pendant motor. This is Quail Dorota. This is from a company called Quail. And then perhaps more of a dental company. But this has got a handpiece here. It's a fixed handpiece, which means this handpiece cannot come off at all. And it's not a quick release either, so it does take you a few more seconds to take the actual burr off it. What you would do is simply put there's a hole basically within the handpiece. You would put in a rod into the hole like that, and then you would simply turn the knurled nut on the end, and then you would take out your burr or your polishing wheel or your drill, slip a new one in, tighten it up by hand, remove the bar, and away you go. Foot control as well, not as quick, not as slow as the Fordham either. So this is a fixed handpiece, this won't come off. There's this one over here as well. Again, this is a Seco. Again, this has got a fixed handpiece as well. Now, what you have to do with this one is very similar to this Quail, is put the bar into it. If you want to change it, you then get your burr, polishing mop, whatever, into the end of that. And now with this one, you need a spanner. There's a spanner that comes upon the end that you would turn to tighten it up. Remove the spanner, remove the bar, and away you go. Not a quick release, fixed handpiece upon that one. A Seco, this is the one particular pendant drill that I bought when I started first 22 years ago. As you can see, it's still going today. If I'd known then what I know now, I wouldn't have gone for a fixed handpiece. I would have made sure that it was a slip joint that I could change them. But at the time, this was quite reasonable, but the Fordhams at the time were very expensive and I just simply couldn't afford it. So that's pretty good. There's one other type of pendant drill that I'll show you. That's downstairs in my workshop and I'll show you the handpiece. But the advantage that you've got with these fixed handpieces is they're quite small, and they are small. If you're a lady, these are about the smallest handpieces that I think I've seen. Very small for small hands, and they'd be ideal. If you don't have any need for changing your handpieces, that you're not going to use a hammer handpiece, well then yeah, go for one of these, and these are ideal. Very easily, very controllable. Hi, right, I am downstairs now in my workshop. I've got another Fordham on my bench, just had a camera there, and Jason has another pendant drill as well. So we've got 5 altogether. Jason's is a Seco as well, and this particular Seco model has a slip joint, so the handpiece will come off. I'm sure you can buy, you've got a choice when you buy the pendant drill, you can choose whether you have a fixed handpiece or a slip joint handpiece. The slip joint handpieces always tend to be that little bit larger because of the mechanics involved in taking it off, put it back on again. But this is a slip joint, as you can see, it simply comes off like that. And also this is a quick release handpiece as well. Again, it's like the Fordham, you simply push the lever here, you take out the drill, the burr, the polish mop, whatever it is you're using, and you can pop a new one in, flick the switch back, and away you go. This is again quite a handy one because you can remove the handpiece, and in fact I've got on this one a hammer handpiece again, and that one simply click on, as simple as that. Same principle as the Fordham, got the anvil on the end here, it's got a variable control, the power of the hammer action, heavy or light, and all different variations in between. So again, a very good pendant drill. Again, slip joint, you can change them within seconds, it's as easy as that. So that's it really. There's basically 2 different types of pendant motor. When you go to buy one, if you want to try them out in the jewellery shop, in the tool suppliers, I'm sure if they're a reputable firm you can. If you are looking on various auction sites, you may be able to find them fairly cheaply there. What you've got to remember is that the parts do wear out. The flexi shaft, the shaft here needs regular maintenance. The Fordhams always come with a care kit, oil and spanners, just to make sure that this sheath here, the metal flexi shaft that runs through it, is always lubricated. You've got to be careful what speeds you run them at. You've got to make sure that when you do hang them up, and you should always hang your pendant motor up like I have on this one here, that the flexi shaft comes down at a nice even curve like we have here. So when you're working away, this has always remained with no stress. What you don't want to do is have the pendant drill too low, so this shaft is kinked like this, or in any way. It has to remain nice and even, and that will ensure longevity of the shaft that's in it. So I hope that goes some way to demystifying the pendant drills, what you can buy, what uses they are put for. Pendant drills, I love them. I had a handheld drill when I started first and I soon wore it out. Just too lethal for my use. I've had a pendant drill. I've shown you the pendant drills downstairs. I've had that for 22 years. It's still going strong. Jason uses that particular one day in, day out, as well as I use these Fordhams day in and day out. They will help you in your work. They will make you a better craftsman. They will help you produce better craftsmanship, better polished work, better setting. My setting now these days is far better by using the Fordham, and I keep harping on about them, but I think they are a very, very good handset, a pendant drill, because of the versatility of the foot control and the speed. You can also get micro motors as well, small units to sit on the bench, but they're a whole different ball game altogether, and they are a lot more expensive, but I won't go on about those. I'm just concentrating on these pendant motors. So I hope you've enjoyed that film. I know I've talked an awful lot and haven't showed you much, but I hope it has helped you to be able to choose the right pendant motor for yourself. I'm Andrew Berry for The Bench. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.